The state in the Sezo Meyiwa murder trial is expected to call a new witness to the stand in the High Court in Pretoria today. It's been keeping the cards very close to its chest for the safety of their witnesses, they say. And it comes after Tumelo Madlala, Meyiwa's friend, concluded his testimony last week. He was among the people in the house when the goalkeeper was shot and killed back in 2014 in an alleged robbery. That was at the home of his then-girlfriend, Kelly Khumalo. Mnisi is once again outside court as he continues to track the story for us this morning. So, Linda, if memory serves, we've had 3 witnesses on the stand so far. Tumelo Madlala, Sezo Meyiwa's friend, and, of course, 2 police officers as well. Any idea who this 4th witness will be?
Well, Michelle, there's a lot of speculation around who could be the next witness in the house, and all of it seems to point around the people who are inside the house. Who it is, it's unclear at this point, as you've just said. The state playing the cards and keeping them very close to its chest. You'll remember that throughout last week there were a couple of movements in the court, one that were worth noting. Initially, you'll remember, I think it was on Monday when we heard that the lawyer for Kelly Khumalo would like to be readmitted and be allowed back in court as watching brief, also requesting access to certain documents, transcripts of the trial, as well as the bail application. But not only that, access to the 2 dockets that are in this matter. That's docket 636 as well as docket 375. But of course, the court turning it down, upholding its past ruling on watching brief, particularly when it comes to Kelly Khumalo's lawyer. Later in the week, we saw the lawyer for Mthokozisi, who was also inside the house. The expectation at the time was that he would address the court, and perhaps this would also be on issues around, watching brief, but he did not address the court and did not speak to members of the media post, his presence in court. So those are quite a number of notable movements that were in court just last week. Are there an indication that perhaps one of them would be in court? We don't know yet, but only time will tell.
And on the sidelines of that, Linda, there is that that case of another person who was accused in the Sezo Meyiwa murder, that he will be appealing, he'll be suing police and the NPA. You'll remind us of the name of this person who plans to sue the NPA and police for around 21 million rand.
That is Zamoguhle Mbata. You'll remember he's the first person who was arrested in this particular matter. As you know, police said at the time he matched the identity kit that they had. But it also turned out that Zamoguhle Mbata was known to the Khumalos. In fact, if I remember correctly, had been washing their cars and was somebody who was known to that particular family. He was later released and has been, pursuing this matter for quite some time now. You'll remember when the police minister, Bekicele, announced that there were 5 people who were arrested for this matter in 2020, which are the 5 accused in the dock today. We went to Vosloorus to try and speak to Zamoguhle Mbata. I spoke to him off camera, and I was indicating at the time that he wasn't ready to speak about this matter as it was pending. You could clearly see, Michelle, that he was really still not okay about what had happened because he was known to the Khumalo family. So he is the first person whose name came up first. But you'll remember in this particular case as well, his name was featured when the defense was talking about the identity kit that were drawn at the time, describing a person who had dreadlocks, was wearing a hat, and was wearing a particular jacket. That is the alleged intruder who's said to have entered the first time and wielding a gun. But it later turned out that it wasn't in fact him, and that is why we saw that case and those charges being withdrawn from him. It's important to also note that the first intruder has not been identified, especially in the dock, given the fact that Tumelo Madlala only said that he saw an identified the second intruder that he said was Bongani Ntanzi, but could not really look at the first intruder. What is quite interesting about this and, the whole identity kit and the first person that was described is that Tumelo Madlala says when he gave the police a statement after the incident had taken place, he did not give the police the description of the person that he saw, Bongani Ntanzi. In fact, he gave a description of the person that he said he could not look at directly because he was wielding a gun. And that description is of that person who has dreadlocks and was wearing a hat and was wearing a jacket. So at this point, that person remains unidentified. Michelle?
Yeah, Linda, and even as you're describing those details, I'm sure they're all coming back to our viewers as well as we try to keep track of this case. Thanks very much indeed, Linda Mnisi, live to us there at the High Court in Pretoria.